Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for today. This is a continuation of my test server series, a part of the Birds of Prey episode DLC release, which we have coming up on April 16th. This is the second of two raids. This is the Clocktower, the regular variant, and I'll be rage tanking throughout this. This raid was designed by Quixotic, or Quixotic, however you pronounce the name. Now, the developer itself, he's done really good raids in the past. Or he's actually always done really good raids. He's one responsible for like Blackest Night, Darkside War Factory. He did Unholy Matrimony. I think he worked on Nexus as well. So, you know, that's a very impressive resume, and he's been around a long time. I'm just not sure what's going on for the past couple of raids. Like, the last raid, it was Phoenix Cannon. And Phoenix Cannon was, it still is a really great raid. It's just, it was really buggy on test server. It was released, there's a lot of bugs, and it took a while to kind of live test it, which is, you know, obviously not ideal. And we're running into the same situation with this raid. It released fine. It was well toned down. Like, I guess the main point is, like, this DLC, we have one easy raid, which is Fire and Brimstone, which is the previous one you saw, and then we have Clocktower. And the differences between the two are pretty much night and day in terms of like mechanics, in terms of difficulty. Like Fire and Brimstone, really simple to follow mechanics. They're right there in front of your face. As long as you follow them, I mean, you got no chance of dying. I mean, I don't think I've seen. Well, I think I've seen one group wipe in Brimstone, but that was just because people were ignoring the turrets, and it just eventually got overwhelmed and people died, and it was just a wipe. But I mean, if you're following the turret, I think it's just because DPS kind of, you know, they get tunnel vision, they're not aware, or they don't want to because they're going to lose damage. But I mean, as long as you're following the turrets, I mean, there's no way to fail Fire and Brimstone. It's very straightforward. And the boss fight itself, you know, the boss, what was his name? Brimstone? Yeah, it must have been Brimstone. That boss itself, I mean, as long as you're not getting near him, there's hardly any risk to you because it's all proximity aggro based. So as long as you're not getting close enough to the tank, and as long as you're not facing behind the tank, because he's going to fire those like fireballs, lava waves, spike wakes, everything like that. You know, as long as that's not happening. Actually, I should shut up for the cutscene.
Where we go and what we do is no business of yours, Huntress.
Retract your claws, Catwoman. If we can all just talk.
So you can use your pheromones to mind control us? Not a chance.
Okay, so this is going to be the first boss fight. You noticed in the cutscene, is it just me or Poison Ivy's nose look weird? I mean, that's just, I don't know, that's just me. But yeah, leading up to the fight, like I guess I could continue on what I was talking about before. Yeah, Brimstone, very, very hard for you to fail Brimstone. I mean, because everything's right in front of you. This raid, so leading up to this raid, you kind of had to fight through the tunnels there, and you had all those drones on the side. Those are trap drones. So what they're going to do is they're going to stun you and case you. So this raid is not very channel friendly. So if you're using like Doom Spin, channels like munitions, like fire, like ice blast, stuff like that, that's not very friendly at all. Like I was munitions DPSing this with empowered channeling, and I was constantly getting pushed back, interrupted. I couldn't complete. I don't think I actually completed one actual rotation properly. So that's going to be interesting how that plays out in terms of precision DPS, just because there's, you know, interrupts all over the place. As a tank, I always try to run my group breakout like Ire. It's going to be handy with ice changes now, with shadow restraints being earned back faster. But it's not for the boss fights. You don't need immunity. Well, technically, last boss you kind of do, but we'll kind of touch on that when that happens. But I mean, this fight is really straightforward and regular. You just basically, Catwoman will be very similar to what she is in Legends, so she'll lunge you or lunge different players. Like, you have to block well, not really in regular, but, I mean, best practice, I guess, quotation marks, I'm making, like, air quotes, is to block Catwoman's lunges on her skulls, because she can lunge a player as well. She can target a player and lunge them. But mainly that, she'll lunge you. She'll do her, like, what is it, like, 2-hit combo where she does, like, the flip kick. And it's not a martial arts combo, it's specific to Catwoman and Legends. She'll also do her whips. So whips will one-shot you in Elite, pretty much. Massive damage, and regular, they're not too much. Poison Ivy, really straightforward as well. Basically, Poison Ivy, her only attack that's going to... Actually, I could just say Catwoman also drops those caltrops all over the ground. You can see those little... I mean, they look like caltrops. They don't really do much damage. Even Elite, they're just like a passive dot, so you can stand them and not really worry about it. I think it's like maybe a 10k dot, but it's really not noticeable, the damage. It's really toned down, especially in Elite too. Poison Ivy Skull, she'll fire a delayed little Thornburst at you, so you have to block that. It can range. I've taken like 150k damage, 180k, I've taken 200k, so that's pretty much the only risk with Ivy. Just have, like, I usually just phase dodge or shield it or whatever. It doesn't matter, just as long as you, but it's delayed damage, so you just have to wait a moment and then block. Catwoman Skull, like you just saw her whips there, that's all immediate damage, so there's nothing delayed damage. Other than that, the other main mechanic is that if they stay close together, they'll defense buff each other. At some point, you'll see that red text, so just kind of split them apart, kite. Or if they frenzy, they have to be standing close together, which is easier in a solo tank. That'll change, so. I don't really want to discuss the cutscene here. I should shut up.
We thought we were all here to save Oracle's bacon.
We are.
We are. You are?
Ivy's been working to clear her name, and I don't mind helping the right people for the right price.
Blah, blah, blah. If you're all in, let's go rescue our pal.
Attempt to proceed at your own peril. You will not receive a second warning.
Friend of yours? Never seen her before.
Yeah, so that's a very, very, very different fight in Elite. I doubt I'll be able to bring you Elite footage from test server, but obviously I'll get you to when it comes on live. But, I mean, the difference between regular and Elite in this raid, night and day. Fire and Brimstone Elite, perfectly capable of doing first day. You can kind of take any group as long as they're paying attention, you're fine. This raid in Elite, unless you have a good group, I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't even bother going in. You'll be there hours. Especially with this last boss mechanics, you can really, really struggle with players that don't want to, follow direction. Other than that, after this boss fight, same thing. There's a big hallway set of ads. You can run through and pull the ads. The ads in this hallways, they're not really going to kill you. They're going to annoy you. Like there's that one, is that the Warden drone? No, it's the Verve bot. It's essentially wing armor, so it'll spin around. That's the other thing too. Contributes to prec DPS using Doomspin. You'll get knocked around by the wing armor, so then you have all those interrupts. But I mean, essentially that the bots themselves don't do that much damage. They also drop those. Is it the gas grenades, or was that Gadget's DPS doing that? I can't remember. But yeah, it's not that the ads are too much of an issue. You have to constantly worry about. Yeah, it might be this Grooves guy, because these gadgets, he might be dropping the fixation gas. But yeah, it's not that you have to worry about the ads, it's just that it's all the interrupts and channels, and just like, you'll get so annoyed as a DPS. And it's the same regularly. When you have proper augments, all these trap drones on the side, you can turn them off, essentially. You'll see a cog. There's feats for turning them all off, I think, not waking any up. They're all proximity based, so if you run and touch one, it activates, it can trap you, you can lose your powers, or it just stun locks you in case, like the Gadget's cuff 'em animation. But other than that, it's there to annoy you basically, that's all it is. But nothing, nothing over the top. Even in Elite, the ads are fine. This is me standing in the wrong door. So this brings us to this room here. Now, this is a new puzzle room. Now, it's not as bad as the card game. I know people can say, oh, no, another card game. But, I mean, this is, like, if you fail this... I mean, I should say that this is really easy to troll. I mean, that's going to be the issue. If you're in a pug run or something like that, and some guy wants to troll and grief the group, then, yeah, it's super easy to grief the group in this situation, just how this puzzle works. But, I mean, if you got a group paying attention, you can't fail it, basically. It's, like, impossible to fail. So what will happen is that I'll try to see if when I turn my camera angle to the front there's like a TV station there. We'll see after I kill these bots. But essentially you can see all those terminals in the background. So what's happening is that, do I ever turn my camera angle here? Yeah, see how there's the TV screen? And see that kind of logo that is changing on the screen? So basically there, was it 7? Yeah, see we just failed there. You can follow along in the chat. That's what happens when you fail. Ads come out. Or more ads come out. But essentially, yeah, so basically there's going to be a picture that comes up on the TV screen that's going to correspond to one of the terminals on the side. So you can see each terminal will have a different picture, and then you just turn the cog. I mean, that's it. So say like a Catwoman picture comes up, there's a cog terminal for Catwoman. now we have to restart it. So basically, if you fail, you restart. So yeah, it's really easy to grief, but it's super easy to finish. So what was that? Was that 6 or 7? I have to pan back. But yeah, see, if a little bird wing comes up there, or the hawk wing, turn the cog on the hawk wing, and then that's fine. Go on to the next one. And if you fail, odds will come out. See, now there's that little star icon. You go to the cog, the terminal has the star icon. You can stand up on top of those servers and turn the cog still. So if you don't want to be out of reach of the ads. And you don't have to kill the ads. You can keep the ads and kill them at the end. It's just that obviously the group wants DPS, DPS, DPS. So you have again, Catwoman face. Now the cog is Catwoman in the back. You run, turn the cog, happy face, done. And yeah, there was 6. You have to do it 6 times. But I mean, that's all it is. I mean, it's super straightforward, super easy to understand, easy to grief. So we'll have to see how that happens in pugs. If someone wants to do that, or in a league run or something, you want to play a joke on your league mates and you turn the wrong cog. But I mean, that's easy to do and then fail. But I mean, other than that, it's super easy to finish that puzzle. So it's not at all difficult. Like I wouldn't even say the card game is difficult, but there's a lot more chances to fail in the card game. So another cutscene.
You are friends of Oracle, her birds of prey.
You bet your sweet Bippy we are.
She will abandon you, just as she did me.
Oracle and I go way back, but she's never mentioned her friend Killbot 3000.
She built me so that she could remote pilot me alongside her birds of prey, then abandoned me when Brainiac's exobites gave her an army of operatives. The benevolent Lex Luthor woke me and completed my programming. I will destroy Oracle and any who stand in my way.
If you're calling Lexi benevolent, your wiring is wackier than mine.
Enough talk. Let's take her down.
Okay, so this fight is like the buggy mess right now in this raid that has been persistent the entire weekend. Like, normally I wouldn't even try to upload this for you guys, but I mean, at one point, I don't know when this is going to get fixed. I mean, Quixotic or Quixotic, or what's his name? I mean, he's kind of MIA since Friday. You know, we've had Sharon respond, Jack Frost has responded to feedback, and this developer has been kind of MIA, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know how long it's going to take to fix. You know, if he's some kind of patch that comes out, you know, what is it, Tuesday now? If the patch comes out Wednesday or Thursday, testing on the weekend again, and then the 16th comes, and then the DLC's out. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I figured you guys, at least I can show what it looks like, and what it should look like, what it shouldn't look like. So normally I wouldn't post a raid that has bugs like this, but I mean, you got no choice. So essentially, the main mechanic to this room is that throughout the fight, he's going to basically change you to a different color. It's going to be red and blue. The first phase, don't worry about it. It has a color phase. The second phase is where you have to worry about it because you're going to drop one of these pools. So red and blue pools have spawned. Now, if I'm red, I can go stand in a red pool and not take damage. But if I'm red and stand in a blue pool, I'm going to proc tons of explosions and people are going to die. That's why you're taking massive damage everywhere. In regular, the pools disappear, so a lot quicker. And then there'll be another phase, so now I just change blue. And then when the phase goes around again, I'm going to drop there's a vary. So the first phase, if you're red, you can stay red or you can stay blue. See, now I'm blue, I spawn the opposite pool. Now I can go to a blue pool to stand in it. You know, ideally these pools should be against the wall. Players shouldn't be standing in opposite pools. Like, it's just a mess. Like, you saw 2 red players standing in 2 blue pools. Now we're got explosions are everywhere, and we're wiping in regular. You know, that's how easy it is to wipe in regular. Normally, it wouldn't show you in a wipe. I can't remember the last time I actually showed a wipe in a video, but I mean, that's how the raid is supposed to work. It's supposed to work that people stand along the edges, drop their pools, come into the center to DPS. You're standing in the opposite color pool. So they say, if I'm red as a color, I can't revive someone that's blue. A blue person has to revive blue. Red person has to revive red. You know, it's very, you know, the concept itself is simple. It's just the execution. Players don't, you know, want to, players don't want to pay attention. I mean, for whatever reason, they get tunnel vision DPS. They don't want to move. For whatever reason, they don't want to, you know. There's a lot of, I guess, how I should say this, personal responsibility. So let's pick this up when we actually do the run and show you what unfortunately is the side effect of wiping. Okay, so you'll see in about 30 seconds or so why it's bugged after you wipe, or why it can be bugged in the first place, or just why it's such a buggy mess. But I mean, it's not so much the mechanics or the issue here. It's a really great mechanical fight. It's really simple to understand. Like if when you change colors, go to the same side as the other colors. You've got time, so it's usually like an even split. Like there could be like sometimes 6 blues and 2 reds, but it's usually like 3 or 4 you have each color. Move to the same side so that when you spawn the pools, you can all move and the other group can rotate clockwise. Like it's really simple mechanics to understand. Keep your distance. Don't stand your players because you're going to arc damage towards them. Don't stand in the opposite color pools. Don't res the opposite color person. You know, it's not simple, like not difficult concepts to understand. Yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of players that like don't follow direction or can't follow direction or don't want to follow direction, and they can end up wiping the group really simple, just as you saw that before. Like it doesn't take much, especially in Elite. If someone stands in the wrong pool as Elite, it's pretty much a one-shot. I mean, it's over. And obviously you can see in the combat log who did it too, because their explosion will kill you. Other than that, like this boss itself has a lot of other mechanics as well. It's got a skull attack that sucks you in. So it's good to have. You have to block. If you block that, you're fine. It's got a teleport attack where the Oracle bot will stare at you and then pull you in as a teleport. That you can be teleported through block, which I'm sure is a bug. It's got another attack called Exo Blast or Exo Burst. Yeah, Exo Burst. She'll put her hands up to her head and basically one-shot you as a tank with no warning. It's like literally 2 seconds. So she'll put her hands up. As she puts her hands up in the air, there'll be like this sound, and then boom, you're dead. If you're not like full health. So it's obviously that's an issue as well, because that's a non-skull attack, by the way. Other than that, she's got the skull attack that spins. There's an Elite. There's a whole different other mechanics. You'll see this kind of pulse bot off to the side. A troll can stun it, or if it doesn't, you can lunge it too. Don't worry about killing it. Just you can perma-stun it, but it'll arc damage out. I mean, as you can see, this attempt there's no pools, so I mean that's why it's bugged. The other thing too is you definitely 100% will not want water healers, or I wouldn't say water healers. You definitely don't want Solace of the Seas for obvious reasons. If you can't see the pools on the ground because you got Solace of the Seas pools everywhere, I mean that's an issue. So we'll shut it for the final cutscene.
Really, Oracle? Say something only she would know.
You've always wanted to raid Wonder Woman's closet.
Oh, I've never told anyone else that.
You've told me that like 12 times.
Whatever. I'm convinced.
I can't thank you enough for the rescue, but this was just a distraction. Luther was buying time for whatever he's doing at that volcano. We've got to get back there and stop him.
So, moral of the story, super challenging raid, super fun raid. We just need to get the developers on this, on these bugs and these feedback. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching.